Oh my god, guys, it's crazy. KSI just confirmed he is not only fighting swarmz, but Ivan Nikolov. 2 fights in one night on August 27th. It's going to be insane. He was originally meant to fight Alex, but he pulled out because of a concussion. We don't really know if that's really the real reason. Everyone's saying it's fake. But I'm going to do my update prediction because loads of fights have changed since my original video, so let's get into it. I want to say as a quick reminder, if you guys haven't already, leave a like and subscribe. We're going to be obviously talk about this main event, but before we have to talk about the co-main event because that also changed. FaZe Temper versus Blueface was the original fight, but it got cancelled. I said FaZe Temper was going to win, but now obviously it's changed to fight Slim, so we're going to obviously talk about that one first, so let's get into it. Another thing to put out before we get into this, I am not going to be covering the whole event because we already did that in my previous video. We're only going to be talking about these fights that have just changed. And we're going to get into it by starting off with with Slim versus Temper. Obviously, we talked about a lot with FaZe Temper, so we're going to be talking about Slim, but just for now. So Slim, the thing is, he's got character, and he's came in 2 weeks in advance, and he seems like he's already ready, which is crazy, because normally most fighters wouldn't do that like late into a fight, but obviously Slim has fought before. He was rumoured to fight Gib many times, but stuff didn't go through, and speaking of Gib, he's gonna apparently fight the winner between these two. Now, the thing with Slim, he was originally going to fight earlier this year, but got against Ryan Taylor, I think, but they already had a fight and he got injured, so we'll see if that came into impact of it. Now, if you guys don't know how I normally do these types of videos, is we normally talk about the fight, talk about, like, the fight themselves, go through the record, and then get, like, clips of training footage from both fighters, and then compare and then do my prediction at the end. So we're going to obviously do it for Slim and FaZe Temper. We have done it obviously before, and I recommend before you check out this video, check out my last video. Well, not my last, but the one I did before on the whole event, just so you know how it works and who I put to win each fight. Now, I'm obviously watching this event. It's going to be mental. So let's obviously talk about this fight. Who do I think is going to win? So going into it, FaZe Temper, he seems more of the professional out of the two. He's taller. He's already got like the boxing technique, and he seems very strong going into this fight. Obviously, like I said, Slim had an injury from Ryan Taylor. I don't know if that will impact the fight at all. Obviously, he had fought I think he had fought a few times. I think he did beat Fuzi Tube, I believe. And a few other fighters, but I can't really remember those names. But we'll obviously look at the footage. Now, my first honest opinion is I feel like FaZe Temper will win. Who I personally want to win, I don't really know. I think I'd probably be rooting for FaZe Temper, but we'll see who it is, and let's go into the footage. So there. He's blindfolded. This is all Slim, obviously. The FaZe Temper. Alright, here's some ropes. Him doing the skip, obviously jumping. And him on a one as well. Now it's my time to predict who do I think is going to win. Honestly, obviously there's a belt on the line. The thing is, FaZe Temper's a professional, and going into a fight 2 weeks, being like replaced, going into a fight 2 weeks against someone who's really good, not having enough time to train, I feel like you would have to have longer to try and beat someone his level. And that's why I feel like, once again, Temper, I'm going to stick with my prediction, Temper will win. But obviously, I wouldn't mind if Slim wins, because I think they're both undefeated boxers. Obviously, I don't really mind who wins, but if I'm basing it off the facts, it's got to be probably Face Temper. I'm not going to say knockout, because I don't think Face Temper doesn't have the power. But I feel like he can possibly... He's going to win, but I feel like this fight will be a bit even. I feel like he could win. He's going to win, but he wouldn't do it by knockout. He doesn't have the power. Since, obviously, I watched the Kenny fight, he doesn't have power. He's got the pace, he's got the height. But, yeah, that's not what he's got, the power. So I'm going to say Temper by distance, Temper by points. Let's go on to the main event. Moving on, main event, we got two fights. KSI versus swarmz. KSI versus Ivan Nikolov. Now, we'll cover both of these fights separately. We're going to start off with KSI versus swarmz. Who do I think is going to win? Now, obviously, he was originally meant to fight Alex. swarmz was a backup. When I found this out on Twitter and Instagram, I was annoyed. But, you know, swarmz has been chatting a lot. He's been chatting a lot of bad. He even dropped a diss track. KSI, on the other hand, obviously is confident in his ability. That's why I decided to have two fights on one night. And I feel like KSI is the favourite here. Obviously, it's going to be... swarmz has never boxed apparently before. According to rumours, he has never boxed before. And he's going in a fight 2 weeks. He only has 2 weeks to learn how to fight and lose as much weight to get to his weight as well. And honestly, it's not really looking good for swarmz. Obviously, everyone memes him, but who do I think will win? We obviously look at the footage of swarmz, because I haven't really seen any footage of him. Obviously, he was unknown to many people because of his ability. No one really knew who he was as a rapper. Well, he was more known as his rapping than anything else. But obviously, they made a song together, Houdini, and apparently they had beef. But we're going to find out. We're going to watch the footage now for KSI versus swarmz. We're going to watch, obviously, on KSI's end, swarmz end, then do my prediction on that, and then we'll do the KSI versus Ivan Nikolov. So let's get into this. swarmz, this is some footage we got of him. This is him sparring. Obviously, he's not the greatest, obviously, because he is learning how to box, but he's got some good movement. He's not a sit-death fighter. He's just mainly in the corner, though. Just practicing what to do when he's backed in the corner.
We can't really see much in this footage at all, but hopefully
I don't know
we'll
if
get
that's
some
part
more
of the
training
drill
footage
or if
from
it's
swarmz
actually
in
him
the future.
just can't get upcoming fight, or should I say fight, for his fight against swarmz and the Bulgarian pro boxer, and we're going to see what it's like. So obviously, good jabs. He looks better. He's obviously the best physique he's been in since he obviously fought Bella. I know he's in better physique since then. That's some good work. Oh, that's the Wade.
Nice. Beautiful right hand.
Wade.
Good shift to the weight. Yes, sir.
He's going to be one of the commentators on the night. Also was the one who hosted their press conference. Now this is of him on the bag. He's got a good right hand, I think. Yeah, right hand. He's not really using his left a lot. Maybe I think he is an orthodox fighter, right? This is only him. Okay, now we get to see his fast hands. You get to see a bit of his left now, which is better. My final prediction for KSI versus swarmz. I feel like KSI will win. Knockout, hopefully. Round 3. Round 3 knockout. He's gonna win the belt and get ready, obviously, for his next fight. But obviously, swarmz had to learn 2 weeks how to box. It takes longer to box, especially going against him. He seems more confident, but I don't feel like... I think he just all the talk. I don't feel like he would bring an upset. And even if he did, that would be insane, and it totally proved me wrong. But I think about it, he should knock him out in like 1 or 2 rounds. He's not, because he's not... They're on 2 different levels, so if he doesn't, well, I'm wrong. But if he does, I'm right. But now we're going to be talking about his next fight. I mean, the other fight, the second fight of the night, against the Bulgarian pro fighter. So let's go. So now we're going to be doing KSI versus Ivan Nikolov. He is a pro Bulgarian fighter. He's had 3 wins, 15 losses. Even though the losses, he's got more losses than wins, I feel like he would still be a challenge, considering he's fighting 2-1 night. I think he is a perfect opponent. He's a pro boxer. A pro boxer, Jake Paul, has not fought because he hasn't fought any. He's only fight people who either don't box or are... Yeah, he only fights people who don't box. And we're going to obviously look at the footage. I'm only going to show it of the Ivan guy because we already showed footage of KSI, and then we're going to obviously go on, do my final prediction, as well as tell my honest thoughts on this. So let's go. Boxer, the pro boxer, KSI's supposed second fight in the night. Obviously, he's won 3 fights, lost 15-16, and this is some sparring footage we see. But for one of his fights, it's not obviously for the KSI one. It's too early to release because as I'm recording it, it just got announced, and that's why I'm making this. So let's watch this, and I'll tell you my thoughts.
It's boxing footage.
So we got this. His jab's pretty good. Obviously, you'll see the difference. You see the difference between him and swarmz, between a pro boxer and not a pro boxer. But will this be a challenge for him? Is a question. Because fighting a pro boxer is not easy. But you never know. I think he's a shorter opponent as well. His jabs are good. He's good on the pads. That's for a fact. Here's some footage of him. I think in a box, he's got good defense as well. I mean, good, like, moving out the way. Oh. I think he is a wild fighter. Oh. He knocked the opponent. He is, I think, either the same height or like smaller. But he looks good. He looks good on the pads. I won't disrespect. He does look good. Final prediction: KSI versus Ivan Nikolov. Even though he's a pro boxer, he obviously doesn't have the greatest record. I feel like this will be obviously way better. Now, I feel like KSI will win. And I feel like because it will be more difficult, because he's obviously, depends how long his other fight goes, he'll probably be more exhausted. That might be a downside. Obviously, according to his doctors, if there is a big injury from his fight with swarmz, he wouldn't do the second fight. But just in case somehow he did, I'm going to probably root KSI, even though it's against a pro boxer. He still doesn't have a great record, so I'm going to say KSI by points. Now, my honest final thoughts on this event. Going into it, I thought it was going to be bad, that he's only fighting swarmz, and swarmz isn't a fighter, and it was just a big downside. But the fact he brought another pro boxer involved just amped up the hype even more. And in my opinion, it might be agreed by some people, might not by others. If KSI somehow pulls this off, fights both and wins both, doesn't have to be by knockout, knocking them both out, but if somehow he does it, I'd regard him probably better than Jake Paul, because Jake probably would never do what KSI is doing. And that's just the one thing that probably I'd say would put KSI in front. The fact he's able to fight 2 people one night and still win. Even with a broken nose and a broken hand during sparring apparently. But it's going to be insane. If he somehow pulls this off, fair play. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like, subscribe. Road to 160.